At Cove, Laddie was assigned to the Human Studies Lab. Pencils up, trust, and worthy. A forever student of the known forces and the dark matter. A spiritual being, always trying to organize his stop, look, and listens so others didn't have to. The people Laddie rolled with were Great Blue Wave and Green Machine friendly, ex-military and alphabet folk. Laddie was disciplined, diplomatic, and by the book. The all-mystery hops. Laddie's crew pairings were reserved for the unknown dispatches, the scenarios without a box. If Laddie was on a hop, it meant a frog was as well, or a turtle was in theater. It meant uncharted waters were ahead. It meant using every nugget of tech and goodwill. We just couldn't apply any relevant templates to the situation. Legend has it, the first of his name holders was a child of a young maiden and a water spirit residing near a local river. Laddie's vibration was akin to Proteus. He valued his soul and his container, while worshipping their abilities to change on demand. He was thal and think upon demand. His honeypot was an Australian female. The Canadian who brought the trail mentality, a bold human who was able to slip the veil repeatedly and well beyond chance. And he regularly spoke with his ancestors. He was able to see human auras. He understood energetics, and his biology put him on a collision course with epigenetics. Laddie was able to pull useful characteristics and skills from within his own DNA. Laddie was the uncommon amongst the uncommon. He had a French mother and a Welsh-Scottish father. He was deeply connected to the Irish. Laddie could trace his name back to 1296. He was a second-generation North American. There were 2 suicides in his family, an Egyptian male and a French-Canadian female. Laddie was a total pro. He was a workaholic, and he didn't fish off the company pier. Laddie was an Asian-trained Caucasian. He blended the teachings of monks with angels. He was a classical magician, one with few friends. One and only a handful of identified heartbreakers, given the ability only because he had the moral feather and would choose never to use it. A very useful blessing around unless you pissed him off. He's a legend with his karambit because he's never had to use it. Laddie has his own chopsticks, so at the ivory keys of intuition, he sat with Sebastian Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart, a natural who could sense numbers and taste colors. When Laddie shook your hand, you knew he was present in the moment with you. If he asked about your day, he was genuinely curious. If he thanked you, you knew instinctively that it was actual appreciation. Laddie was a student of the Egyptian scales. He had an aunt who shared her mediumship with famous athletes, politicians, and musicians. Her me wall was impressive indeed. Laddie was born hip-hop, and early Motown was his preferred hemisync. Vroom with a broom stuff, although his first love was proper football. He was an NFL junkie and an F1 racing nut, and a science fiction extremist. Laddie was a natural at projecting his consciousness. He had attained enough wisdom to look away before he was told. He was more minister than sinister. The Enterprise was nice, but the USS Nautilus, that was special. Laddie gravitated toward the coastal fronts, the topside crosshairs of Mother Nature. He was able to communicate with spacecrafts regardless of their distance. If he made it back alive, more would follow. and Laddie loved the water. I mean, scuba, paddling, canoeing, swimming, saunas, ice baths, you name it. Laddie was assigned primarily to advanced teams. He was human and signal intelligence. Laddie got his nickname when someone shortened a rallying cry down from "I, Laddie." He was granted cosmic gifts that placed him ahead of his time. In his home geo, amongst the tallest of trees, the indigenous and natives of the land called him a fast walker. The Orbital Guards, Episode 16, Human Resources.